ROFL, LMAO, friend, and all those other short terms. What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and I'm here with the T-Mobile Sidekick 4G, where you can use those terms. You can use those ROFLs and those LMAOs and those LOLs. You can LOL it all day long if you want to, thanks to an awesome keyboard and some good specs as well. 1 GHz processor, 3 megapixel camera, front-facing camera, and more. This is the new Sidekick, new hinge, a little bit different, but still stays true to the Sidekick brand. Is this the device you want, or do you want to go with something else like the T-Mobile G2x, some of the other devices that are coming out in the summer? Well, we're going to try to find that out in the full review, the T-Mobile Sidekick 4G, which starts right now. For those of you that text, email, and do all that stuff on a regular basis, and you're on T-Mobile, the Sidekick 4G might be the device for you. Sidekick 4G coming to T-Mobile April 20th for $99.99, and it's a nicely spec device as well. 1 GHz processor, 3 megapixel camera, kind of ho-hum on the back, no flash, 3 megapixels, meh, but it does have a front-facing camera, a 3.5-inch display, and an absolutely awesome physical QWERTY keyboard. So, you know, it's running Android 2.2, which is kind of a twist from the usual Sidekick devices that were running a proprietary user interface system when Danger and Sharp were doing the Sidekick stuff. Now it's Samsung, and you'll notice the hinge is different on this device as well. It pops up instead of swiveling around like the old Sidekick devices. I happen to like this better. I think it's a little bit cleaner, and I think it reduces the risk. I could be wrong, but I think it reduces the risk of potential damage to the devices. I also think it's more organized. It looks a little better, in my opinion. Now, this device is going to launch on the 20th in retail stores for $99.99. There are going to be a couple different color options here on the back. I got the white one. I think there's a pink one. I want to say there's one more as well. 3.5-inch display makes it pretty easy to see everything, and it's running Android 2.2, so like I said, a little bit of a, or not a little bit, a lot of bit of a difference between the old Sidekicks. Now when you look at it, it looks different. You'll notice that the icons look different, and just the overall interface looks different. The different home screens are slightly different, but in reality, it's a skin over Android, just like Sense, just like Moto Blur, just like TouchWiz. And once you really kind of understand that and get down into it, it's really no different, or, you know, there are little differences between, or few differences rather, between Android 2.2 stock build and Android 2.2 TouchWiz, and then something like this. If you know Android, in other words, you're going to have a pretty easy time getting adjusted to this. But let's see what comes out of the box. Counts and Sync, you can see All Share, Amazon MP3, App Pack, a lot of T-Mobile stuff, and a lot of Sidekick-specific stuff like cloud texting. You'll see Drive Smart, which is an awesome program where you can turn your device off while you're driving, so it'll auto-send text messages to your friends. You have group texting, Highlight, Media Hub, Samsung's Media Hub, Media Room, Memo, which is kind of a TouchWiz slash Sidekick thing, Mini Diary, T-Mobile's My Account, My Device, a couple programs I installed, T-Mobile Mall, T-Mobile TV, Task Manager, Telenav, Theme Changer, Tips and Tricks, Universal Composer, Video Chat, Visual Voicemail, Web, and so there are a lot of Wi-Fi calling as well. And then you do get, through settings, you get, I'll find it for you here, you do get portable hotspot, so you can do that as well as Wi-Fi calling. So it's nice to see that they're re-enabling the Wi-Fi calling stuff, so if you're in an area where service isn't the best, you can jump on Wi-Fi calling. Now it does take your planned minutes, so don't get too excited. It's not like you're getting free phone calls, but you know, for those areas that you know, let's say you're in an area where you have a Wi-Fi signal but you don't have service, jump on it, make some phone calls, and you're done. So again, you know, kind of a TouchWiz interface here with it sliding from side to side instead of up to down, but still it's Sidekick specific, and you'll see little differences like in the notifications bar, you'll see tap to update your status to Facebook, Twitter, or MySpace instead of, and I actually have my Twitter composed here, but instead of seeing the usual bar. And then at the bottom you'll see phone, apps, and contacts. It's kind of a launch bar here, and then you have your 4 buttons here, and then one that's kind of a new one to Android. You have home, menu, back, and then you have what's called quick key, which is where I can click it. I can go over here as jump key, jump key settings, Universal Composer settings, messaging, group texting, basically anything I've opened recently. If I wanted to jump back into settings, I can do that, scroll up and down, and then go back. So you have 7 home screens, and I can show you can access those just like you can on HTC Sense by pinching and doing like that, or you can scroll over if you so desire. Now you do get some widgets out of the box that are different with this, and we'll go through those widgets. You have the typical Samsung widgets that you'll notice right out of the box. Buddies Now, Days, Drive Smart, which isn't a Samsung widget, but You've seen that on some of their devices. Dual clock, feeds and updates, and then when you get into some of the specific Sidekick widgets, group texting, highlight, media room, let's see what else, spell clock, sticky message, those are all new, and then the rest are Google specific widgets, so, or Android specific widgets rather. So, you do have some specific ones, and they all fit pretty nicely on the display. On the left side of the device, you have your 3.5mm headphone jack, just to go over some of the hardware stuff. Volume rocker over here, power button, and you have an optical trackpad here where you can scroll through, as I'm doing right now, which it's in portrait mode, so I probably should turn it in portrait mode so you can do that, scroll up and around. You can see it up there. Then on the right side you have micro USB charging port protected by a flap, the actual physical camera button, half press for autofocus, full press to take the picture, lanyard hole, and then here's what your back looks like, and then we can remove the battery door just to get an idea of what it looks like here. 1500 milliamp battery, so I've been really pleased with battery life over the course of a couple of days that I've used it. I've been pretty pleased. It's lasted for several days, and that's with light to moderate use, texting, calling, browsing the web, downloading apps, things like that. I've been pretty pleased with it. And your micro SD card slot is over here, and it has a 2 GB micro SD card installed out of the box. So you can see that some of the icons have changed, like I said, as a result of this being a Sidekick-centric user interface versus TouchWiz or Moto Blur. And I want to show you, I've got to cover this up so you don't see the people's phone numbers, but see what the messaging prompt looks like here. I'm going to create a new message, and then here's the text message composer. So you get this custom Samsung keyboard here, which you can see, text message composer. We can start entering, and then you have your buttons down here where you can add a picture, attach a file, include a smiley face, and more. So let's do sad face. Somebody's got a case of the Mondays. But you can see, your Samsung keyboard, and then if you want to change it, your input method, you can switch from Samsung keypad to swipe. I'm not, the Samsung keypad's pretty decent, but I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan by any means. It kind of error prone at times, but otherwise a pretty decent keyboard. I still think Android keyboard would have been a little bit better. So here's a test group text that I started so we can see this one at least. This is the device, if you remember when I did the unboxing, I invited everybody to text message me. Well, their numbers were all appearing up there, so I didn't want to give anybody's number away on the internet. So here's what a group text, I put out one that said hi, and so I can enter another message here that says hello. Let's do the quick brown fox is ready to party in the USA. The quick brown fox is ready to party in the USA. I love the keys. They're island keys. They're spaced well, and this device is small enough to where the thumbs touch, and it's easy to type on. So unlike the Droid, the original Droid, or even the Droid 2 to an extent, very compact, very easy to type on. The island keys, 5-row QWERTY, one with a dedicated number row, then another row that's dedicated to the space bar and some commonly used symbols. So you have your dedicated smiley button over here. I think that's a smiley button, maybe not. Well, then we have our dedicated, we'll just go over here, dedicated smiley. How about that? Maybe it's not letting me, there we go. Okay, quick brown fox ready to party in the USA, smiley face. And you can see that there are some commonly used ones there, like heart, wink, and then smiley face, and some of the different stuff like that. You have some, you have your shift key down here in pink. You have voice activation down here, and another shift key over here, so you can use it just like a computer keyboard. But I mean, just fantastic keyboard. I've been really impressed, and you can see test, it automatically shifts to the top, and then when you open it up, it shifts down to the side when it goes into landscape mode. So when if somebody were to text message me right now, it would show up in a blue box up here at the top. It would show me the number, kind of like a little file tab, if you will. It would show me the number and show me the text as well, and I would have the option to respond in that actual blue box as opposed to going to the text message itself and responding from there. So a lot of different options when it comes to text messaging. This device is certainly intended as a as a text messaging device, so that's what it's for. Let's go into browser and take a look at that, see how quick it is. Again, 1 GHz processor here, so it's a fast device. Let's go into web, take a look, and we're going to go to only the best site in the world, phonedog.com. Wait for that to load. This is a 4G device, obviously, so T-Mobile's 4G has been pretty decent in this area, and it's pretty consistent as well. So it's loading up relatively quickly, and this is running Android 2.2, so you do get some flash stuff on this device. We're going to go ahead and download those and wait for it to fully load. And so you can see PhoneDog's coming up now. Again, 3.5-inch display. It's a little bit on the small side So you see the text is a little bit small, a little bit harder to read as opposed to something like the T-Mobile G2x, which is, you know, larger display, 4-inch display, just in comparison. Both of these devices come out on the 20th. So for some of you, it may be a hard decision as to, you know, whether to go with that or to go with this. You need the physical keyboard or not. But you can see pinch to zoom, not too bad. It's a little bit laggy. I find this interesting. You can see that the flash advertisement's kind of falling out of the actual space, the advertising space itself. But you can see pinch to zoom, a little bit unresponsive there for a second. Okay, there it is. So you can see not too bad once it gets loaded, once everything gets kind of settled down. It's not too bad at all. It's loading and moving pretty quickly. Double tap, not bad. Tap out. But you can just see, I mean, some lag there when it comes to the advertisements. They're kind of falling out of their ad space and more. But still, let's go over here. Let's open up a second window. Open up a new window, and then we'll go back to the old window. You get this nice little visual that I happen to like on a lot of the user interfaces, where it gives you the actual kind of preview of the page. But anyway, you know, pinch to zoom pretty quick in my opinion. Of course, you can use it in portrait and in landscape mode as well. We can scroll up and take a look, for example. So not bad at all. Actually, I've been pretty pleased with the browsing, and then it has the flash capabilities, so you can see those as well. Radio Shack, there we go. And I can tap that if I wanted to interact with it. Anyway, I've been very pleased with the browser performance.